Thank you very much for coming this evening. If you look at the life and the career of Phil Dubois, it's easy to say that he is the consummate educator and administrator, earning his undergraduate degree at the University of California, Davis in 1972, and later returning to serve on the faculty for over 15 years, where he rose to full professor, and he held significant positions to include Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs. Now, Phil's exceptional education and administrative performance at UC Davis was a natural for his subsequent selection by UNC Charlotte to serve as Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs in the early 1990s. And he held this position at UNC Charlotte for over 5 years until being selected as the president of the University of Wyoming, where he served with distinction for more than 8 years, leading the university and making significant improvements in academics, support services, capital construction, and recruitment and retention of students. However, in 2005, the University of North Carolina system wisely offered Phil an opportunity to return to the Carolinas, which we are pleased he accepted, to become the 4th Chancellor of UNC Charlotte. In the past 10 years, as Chancellor, he's been a visionary and motivating force that has brought significant change and improvements to UNC Charlotte. With a faculty of nearly 1,500, a student body of over 27,000, and a budget rivaling many Fortune 100 companies, Phil manages one of the largest business institutions in North Carolina and has a direct and lasting influence on the most important people we value. That is, our youth and our future leaders of tomorrow. Now, it's difficult to capture the true impact and contribution of Phil Dubois that he has made as Chancellor of UNC Charlotte. If you simply look around this room, you see the high regard that Phil has held and the numerous lives that he touches on a daily basis. His reach and that of UNC Charlotte is much broader than you would think, considering that we are, in fact, part of the global community. If you look at the diversity of the student body and the global threads of business, commerce, and simple societal interactions that requires our higher educational institutions to become the catalyst for change, for the better. And Phil and UNC Charlotte truly meet this challenge. We are especially honored to have as our introductory speaker a former White House Chief of Staff in the Clinton administration, a former president of the UNC system, and I might add, a former recipient of the World Citizens Award, a well-known North Carolinian native who is no stranger to high-profile public service. Please join me in welcoming Erskine Bowles.
Good evening. Crandall and I were talking the other day, and it became clear to us for as long as we have lived in Charlotte, our city has striven to be considered a world-class city. Today, we are that city. And for that recognition, we owe an enormous debt of gratitude to the leader we honor tonight. For it is a fact, there is no world-class city that also does not have a world-class university. And that world-class university exists right here in Charlotte today, thanks to the dedicated leadership of Chancellor Phil Dubois and the foresight of his predecessors, the remarkable Jim Woodward, Dean Colvert, E.K. Fretwell, and of course, our beloved Bonnie Cone. UNC Charlotte is today truly a world-class university. I had the high honor, the joy, and yes, even the challenge of working with Phil Dubois during the first 5 years of his chancellorship. And I assure you, no other university anywhere ever had a greater champion than Phil Dubois. Every day, and I do mean every single day, of my 5 years as president of UNC, Phil Dubois pushed me, prodded me, provoked me, beat on me to wake up and grasp the importance to North Carolina of having a world-class urban research university right here in Charlotte. This great chancellor truly gave me no quarter in demanding that UNC Charlotte get the resources and the respect it needed, deserved, and had darn well earned. Chancellor Dubois was determined to make sure that UNC Charlotte took a backseat to no other public institution of higher learning in this state, including my own alma mater right down the road in Chapel Hill. It was truly because of Phil's leadership, his drive, his strong will, his dogged determination, his perseverance, and that brilliant leadership of his that folks like me, Tom Ross, our Board of Governors, and the political leaders in Raleigh finally got it and came to fully appreciate the ironclad case Chancellor Dubois made every single day for support of a world-class university he was building and has now built right here in Charlotte. What a debt of gratitude we, the citizens of Charlotte, owe to this strong leader. Today, UNC Charlotte is that thriving urban research university he and his predecessors envisioned it could be, and it would be if they just pushed and pushed and pushed numbskulls like me just a little bit harder every single day. Today, UNC Charlotte has an incredibly talented student body of over 28,000 students. This student body and faculty and staff from around the world are a catalyst for global thinking, driving this city of ours forward in ways some of us never even dreamed possible. Today, UNC Charlotte is nobody's stepchild. It is the fastest growing university in this state and has accounted for more than 60% of the growth of the entire UNC system over the past 7 years. Today, its graduates populate every important business and not-for-profit organization in this region. To think we almost lost this leader truly takes my breath away. In the 1990s, Phil served as UNC Charlotte's provost under the great Jim Woodward. But in 1997, Phil and Lisa and their family were lured away to serve for 8 years as president of the University of Wyoming. At Wyoming, they enjoyed a very successful and productive tenure. But it wasn't long before Smokey Bissell, a prior recipient of this World Citizens Award, headed the search committee at UNC Charlotte that brought the Dubois family back home to Charlotte. Among the many friendships Phil and Lisa formed in Wyoming was one with that old curmudgeon, a true American treasure, my pal and cohort, Senator Alan Simpson. When we told Al about Phil being honored tonight, he wanted to be a part of the program by sending this video greeting. I can't promise you this video isn't R-rated knowing Al. But let's take a moment and listen to Senator Alan Simpson.
When Phil and Lisa came to Wyoming, let me tell you, we were struggling in ways. And then, of course, when he came, and his name was Dubois. And we have a town in Wyoming called Dubois. So one guy was wandering through that area of Wyoming, Dubois, and he went into this place, and he sat down. He was troubled. He said to this woman, "Now, I don't. How do you pronounce the name of this place and say it very slowly?" And she said, "Burger King." When they were in Wyoming, they brought class and glamour, but more than that, leadership, tremendous leadership. And Lisa was a wonderful hostess. Wyoming University was the hostess with the mostest and the entertainment capital. Kings, potentates, princes, and all beautifully done by Lisa and Phil in their home, in their own home. And then what he did with the university and strategic planning, and all the tactical things. And in that period of time, he did so much that even one board member, how's this for an accolade, said, "You know, the thing about Dubois that concerns me, he gets his way too much." Well, that was a bonehead that expressed that, but let me tell you, he does get his way because he has charm, and he's precise, and he knows exactly where he's headed. He'd tell you to go to hell in a way you look forward to the trip. He gets his way, but he's a man of great integrity, and Lisa is just one of the finest. And the pleasure for me and for Ann is that we came to your beautiful campus, and that's where we met Erskine and Crandall. That's given me great joy. One of the greatest guys I've ever worked with is Erskine. And so you have on that podium tonight Phil and Erskine, two very, very special friends of mine. And remember that all three of us wouldn't be anywhere if it weren't for Crandall and Lisa and Ann. So have a big one. I know you're going to live it up and sleep in the streets, and you should. And just know that you're honoring a tremendous man. God bless you. Have a great night.
That is a true American treasure. Phil Dubois. Phil Dubois is truly a world-class leader in this thriving place that is today a world-class city. His leadership and success have demonstrated how important UNC Charlotte is and will continue to be in Charlotte's recognition as a place people throughout the world want to live, work, and raise their family. It has been my own privilege to work with university leaders from around the globe, and I can unequivocally state that Phil Dubois is without question the finest administrator I have ever known. His instinctive commitment to diversity, to fostering a broad community of backgrounds and cultures, is precisely what we need in our leaders, particularly today. It is my great honor now to welcome the 2016 World Citizen, my friend, the fourth Chancellor of Charlotte's Urban Research World-Class University, the Chancellor of UNC Charlotte, Phil Dubois.
On behalf of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte, we proudly present you with the 2016 World Citizen Award. Congratulations, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is tremendous. I know it's getting late, so as Elizabeth Taylor said to each of her 8 husbands, I won't keep you long. Now, thank you again. You know, not to begin my remarks on a somber note, but when I earned my Medicare card this year, I thought I should start talking to Lisa about my funeral arrangements. Should I be hit by a truck while still sitting as chancellor? And I told her that I thought it would be important to have a big, expensive service where we could play my favorite country music, tell a few funny stories, and have my friends say nice things about me. So Lisa, this is it. You're off the hook. I've died and gone to heaven. Thank you. Erskine, thank you so much for being here, for those wonderful, generous remarks, for being such a good friend to Big Al and to me. Although he implied it, he didn't say it. During the 5 years that I worked for Erskine, he called me his favorite PITA, P-I-T-A, pain in the, you fill in the blank. What a nice thing that I could be a PITA and end up with such a great friend. Erskine, thank you. Thank you, Erskine. Now, let me say one thing about Erskine. I get a lot of credit for that Center City building, but Erskine put it at the top of the list in his first session as president, and that building is due to him. I appreciate the Taylor Swift music as we came in tonight. The Dubois family attended Taylor's concert here last year. I'm pretty sure I was the only guy in Time Warner Arena wearing a blazer. But like most of the 14-year-old girls who were there that night, I knew the words. Thanks to the World Affairs Council for honoring me and the members of my outstanding team at UNC Charlotte, many of whom are here tonight. We're delighted to know that UNC Charlotte is seen by you as one of this community's greatest assets, with much more to do. LJ, I know that you, your staff, the dinner committee worked very hard to make this a first-class event. You've succeeded. Thank you. When I look over the list of past recipients of this award, which included, as you heard from Bob, the likes of Erskine and Crandall Bowles, Hugh McCall, John Belk, Smokey and Margaret Bissell, Jerry Richardson, Sandra and Leon Levine, and so many other important leaders in this community, I thought what you are probably thinking. How in the hell did Phil Dubois get on this list? Well, my path to tonight is far more improbable than simply an error in the counting of the votes of the selection committee. If you have to know the truth, the fact that is that my family circumstances growing up would certainly not have predicted that I would end up a college president, or that I would lead a university with such extensive international connections. In fact, my early life did not provide me or any of my 2 brothers with any international travel experience, except a long drive I once took in my Volkswagen Beetle when I was about 18 to go visit my brother who lived in Edmonton, Canada for a short time. The only time anyone in my extended family traveled anywhere out of the country was when my father went to Japan in the 1960s on a business trip. My mother had never, in fact, been to even New York until Lisa and I took her there when she was well into her 60s. And I will fondly remember that my mother's first morning in New York, she was greeted by a street person who mooned her. New York. It was my marriage to Lisa Louis Dubois that exposed me to the wonders of travel and other cultures. And as Al Simpson would tell you if he were here tonight, I seriously overmarried. And it has paid off. I would not be here tonight. I would not be anywhere without Lisa. Now, we never had a honeymoon, but eventually we took our first trip to Mexico, and I was in my early 30s by then. And it's because of that late start in my cultural education that I really feel so strongly about our young students getting an opportunity to study abroad as much as they can. I missed so much when I was young. As for that first trip to Mexico, I'm pretty sure that the Club Med at Playa Blanca was not a representative slice of Mexican culture. But it was a start. And I did learn that you could buy things with beads. Then Lisa took me to Alaska. Not a foreign country, but I could see Russia. So, over the course of our 40-year marriage, which we will celebrate on August 28th, we have visited nearly 50 countries, often with our three wonderful, adventuresome children, Logan, Taylor, and Allie, who are here tonight. And unfortunately, Logan's wife, Kimberly, cannot be here with us tonight because of business obligations. But we're taking Kimberly and all of the children on an Alaskan cruise this summer to celebrate our anniversary. They'll all be able to see Russia. We're also joined here tonight by Kimberly's parents, Debbie and Ed Scully, and Allie's friend, Oace Merchant. Thank you guys for being here. We're glad to have you. So wonderful that you're here. And let me make special mention of a group of colleagues from Kingston University in London, our oldest and most active international exchange partner. And I'd like you to welcome our Vice Chancellor, Julius Weinberg, and his colleagues from Kingston who are here tonight. Thank you, Julius, thank you. Both Lisa and I have to acknowledge the pivotal role that our dear friend, the late Harold Josephson, played in helping get our international exposure. Harold was, as you heard, my Associate Vice Chancellor for International Programs during my first tour of duty in Charlotte as the Provost. And he accompanied us on any number of trips to visit our foreign exchange partners in Europe and all the way to the Far East. That's also been the case with the current and wonderful Assistant Provost for International Programs, Joel Gallegos. Joel. Joel will accompany us to Bosnia this summer as we talk with our partners in Sarajevo about building upon that relationship. I'll note my debt here to Joel because he put my name in front of the nominating committee for this recognition tonight, so I owe you big time. Thank you. Our objective with all of these visits, of course, is to open new opportunities for our faculty and for our students, and we've had that kind of success. In 2005, we sent about 379 students on study abroad. This past year, we sent 675 students to more than 50 partner institutions around the globe, an 80% increase in students over the decade and a tripling of the exchange sites that we have. We have a lot more to do, particularly in terms of identifying scholarship monies to help our students travel abroad. If you want to change a life, write a check to send a student abroad. As you saw in the video, we also try to expose our students to the world here at home through our wonderful international festival, which will this year be held on September 24th. And we also have lots of international students who come to us In fact, with over 2,000 international students, we are second only to NC State and to in the UNC system in the number of international students, and third in the state to NC State and Duke University in terms of the number of international students who study at UNC Charlotte. I'm going to always remember this night, and particularly the chance to show off a little in front of my kids, if only to remind them that one of the most important things that they can do for themselves and for their children is to send their kids abroad. In fact, some of my fondest memories of my children are associated with traveling with them or watching their foreign travels. And I'll talk about Logan first. Logan spent a high school year in Ecuador as part of a program called the Experiment for International Living, a program that Lisa insisted that he do because she had done it when she was in high school. And her experiment in international living was in Russia. So she actually got to be there. Well, based on what Logan gained from that Ecuador experience, we were confident he could make the most of a 2-week trip to Europe after his high school graduation. So off he set with a couple of his buddies from high school. Now, this was well before cell phones were invented, so the only way I could keep track of these guys was to watch the cash withdrawals from the ATMs as they traveled from city to city. That's when I learned a lot about my son's affection for international cultures. These boys spent 2 days in New York, 2 days in London, 1 day in Rome, 1 day in Paris, 1 day in Brussels, and 7 days in Amsterdam. It must have been the tulips. Now, you're going to meet our second son, Taylor, in a moment, so I'll skip to my daughter, Allie. And I'll tell you a little bit about her understanding of the world. On a family cruise to the Bahamas, Allie volunteered to be one of the subjects of the guest hypnotist at the evening entertainment show in the main theater of the ship. She was probably about 17. When she arrived on stage with several other potential subjects for hypnotism, the hypnotist took note of her very good looks and said, "Well, you're a beautiful young woman. Do you have a boyfriend back home?" And she said, "Well, yes, she did have a boyfriend back home." And the hypnotist said, "Well, I guess that means you can't have much fun on this cruise." And she said, "No problem. These are international waters." So, before I leave you tonight, I want to address one rumor that's been circulating in the last few weeks and even tonight. I've been approached by several people who congratulated me for the award tonight and also upon my retirement. There's no truth to the rumor about retirement, none. As long as Margaret Spellings and my board of trustees still want me, I'm going to be around for a bit. We still have to open the light rail line, finish our fundraising campaign, build a science building. And I'm absolutely certain of. Lisa is not ready for twice as much husband for half the money. Thank you so much. We're very appreciative of your being here. We're honored by your presence. Thank you.